Now I'm at the point you wanna be with me. I'm vibing out at a higher frequency, cause everything that I want and I'm gonna be, it's when I wake up, that's when I start to dream. Someone you love is talking down, here is the plan. Let it fall through like a handful of sand. Nothing happens overnight, what you must understand. If you dwell on the bad, then you don't stand a chance. Something you want upset, saying why it ain't mine yet. That's because now you have yet to change your mindset. People don't put their mind to rest while they're so wired. A lot of people go to sleep and wake up tired. Power of positivity and persistence. Say that I can, we'll just sit back and witness. Make an impact when our time is done. Make money, help people, and have lots of fun. Whoa.
Welcome to Office Hours, hosted by legendary sports executive, entrepreneur, and investor David Meltzer, where the brightest entrepreneurial minds in business, sports, and entertainment get together to talk about success, failure, and everything in between.
I have no self-worth tied up in Gary Vee or Gary Vaynerchuk, the entrepreneur. My self-worth is fully and utterly 100% attached to how I treat human beings.
I think love is the answer to everything as well. Love and compassion and justice and fairness, and which are all aspects of love.
The most important question anybody can ask is, what would I do and love every day even if I were failing?
Take a deep dive into the mind of some of the world's most impactful guests.
And the reality is, life here on Earth is very short compared to eternity, and we don't spend a lot of time thinking about eternity and what that looks like.
People get new computers, they get new iPhones, they upgrade their apps. But when's the last time we upgraded, the technology that's created all of these things?
So I always challenge my audience and people I talk to about, sometimes is there a door in your life you have to close for other doors to open?
To share their strategies and tools to dominate their respective fields.
When we repeat anything, whether it's a constructive good pattern or a destructive bad pattern, our brain reinforces it just like a muscle.
All a belief is a story that you've said over and over again. Maybe you caught it from someone else or you had a specific experience.
Know who you are, know what you want, and make adjustments trying to get there.
David Meltzer hosts Office Hours.
Everybody to Friday trainings. We've been doing this for over 26 years, and we have been blessed to do this for over 26 years. And we're traveling around, as I mentioned last week at the Masters at Nashville, did my first fire walk. Then we went into New York, Boston, and now in Denver. So it's been a long month this week, framed by Bucky O'Neill and Ramon and Scott. And we're just traveling. We'll be back at the Aspire Tour next week here in Denver, then into Chicago, then into Rhode Island next week. Over 200 cities, meetups, holding courts, masterminds, VIP dinners, speeches. Come and join us if you haven't yet, and join our private networking gig. Get the invitations, not the obligations. But I do have tints of Jewish guilt if you don't show up. You hear me, Scott Simons, you hear me, Ramon, a little bit of Jewish guilt, only because I love you too and love to see you too. But more importantly, we are blessed to be able to pour into this community. Today's training, which, by the way, if you'd like to get an exercise and a guide to today's training, it's one of the most interfering issues that people have. The training today is called Living Without Attachment. And the difficulties that people have with attachment is they don't even understand what that means. They live their life in the I'll be happy when phase of their life instead of for the sake of what. And so we want to work on that today to stop the interference, to shorten the distance of resistance that all of us create in our lives, some for minutes and moments, and others for days, weeks, months, and years. And it is a process, a practice, a behavioral shift that will allow you to live at ease, to identify the dis-ease of attachment. So if anybody would like the exercise guide from today, the training from today, just email me, david@dmeltzer.com. We're going to dive into this idea of living without attachment with a counterintuitive truth. The less we chase, the more we attract. This is the intuitive truth that's counterintuitive in its nature, that causes us to think about things and give meaning to things that actually create more resistance in the chase than ease in the attract. When we stop flashing what's desirable, we quiet the storm of envy, anxiety, and comparison and judgment. We're creating a space for service and flow and abundance. And in order to understand that in any age of relentless high reels, this teaching isn't just ancient wisdom. It's a competitive advantage. It's not just the Tao, the way. It's actually a competitive advantage to live in this empty mile of ease, of access to an omniscient, all-powerful, all-knowing source, a unified, abundant, infinite system that has all the information you'll ever need. It has so much energy that you're going to have to learn not to just stop interfering with it, but to regulate it when you let the flow go. By simplifying our focus, detaching from outcomes of I'll be happy when, and leading with humility of for the sake of what, we reclaim the energy to innovate, connect, and execute at the highest frequency of awareness, making things easy because we are aware. We have the cheat codes to identify what's making it dis-easy, what's interfering with it. Think of this guide as a practical playbook for translating that wisdom into everyday business wins and personal fulfillment. The first lesson that we're going to discuss in Living Without Attachment, once again, just email me if you want it, is the wisdom of simplicity. Excess desire for status or stuff, to buying things you don't need to impress people you don't like. This comparison creates anxiety and burnout. Detaching from the noise frees energy for purposeful creation. At the height of prior venture, I chased bigger offices, flashier perks, more employees, yet the real momentum returned only when I refocused on serving, on compassionate capitalism, on serving the people that work with me, who work outside of me. And I started to realize the difference between scarcity and thriftiness. By not displaying what is desirable, you will cause the people's hearts to remain undisturbed. When we quiet the urge to show off, to buy things we don't need, to impress those people we don't even like, we replace envy with alignment and attract sustainable abundance into our journey, our divine direction. We want to make sure we're taking a purposeful inventory, a purposeful audit. We want to list our objectives. We want to go ahead and tie the meaning of the past to the meaning of the divine direction, which then will overflow into the meaning of the divine detour and allow for divine time to reveal itself, to create the revelation and the salvation that we're looking for within the context of a unified, abundant, infinite system of thought without any external valuation or validation. This purposeful audit will help you to understand that no longer will I say, I'll be happy when I get married. I'll be happy when I have kids. I'll be happy when I make $1 million. But instead, For the sake of what do I want $1 million? For the sake of what am I going to get married? For the sake of what am I going to have kids? This simplicity, notating that the simple things to do are unsimple not to do, creates what I call a simplicity sprint. We want to utilize the segmentation of our human experience, which is indicated by the time our heart starts beating till the time it stops. That's the human experience. And it's incrementally divided by 24 hours, the only certainty of tomorrow. Your human experience is only separated by 24-hour periods of time, and we want to have simplicity sprints for those 24 hours. Whether it be for 1 minute, 1 moment, 1 hour, 1 day, 1 week, or 1 month, all incrementally divided into the only certainty of the future, the 24 hours that we're given. And in order to effectuate that in this simplicity sprint, we need to understand what non-essential expenses or vanity metrics we are going to examine to look for the clues and the patterns to make better choices, to track the mental space, the open ease that we would like to reclaim. There's wisdom in simplicity, but along with it comes that same faith to intertwine the ease without the comparison, judgment, and conditions of attachment to the things that we don't need to impress people we don't like. The second lesson in this attachment training to living without attachment are the core teachings from what I call the third verse of the Tao, which is overemphasizing desire. In the 3 components in which we take inventory of in this purposeful audit of the definite purpose of what we want to do, we must see desire, but we must also analyze the overemphasizing of desire. When we chase what glitters and shines, we can be blinded by and not see what truly fulfills. So many entrepreneurs are obsessed with the next funding round, and they ignore the malama, the giving and sharing of love for customers and employees and vendors and channel partners, affiliate and marketing individuals, and they end up getting clients, but losing them. The purpose, the meaning will always outperform the possessions. Everything is energy. There's a transformation in possessions and material items into something. Do you want to transform your possessions into an argument of your heirs, or would you like to transform your possessions into good deeds? Into what allows the dissipation of comparison and conflict, which ultimately will kill the contentment, the happiness, the joy. So many people overemphasize their desire without looking at the skills and the knowledge in order to facilitate the meaning and the desire of their design direction, looking for the clues, the patterns, and making better choices aligned with the divine direction, aligned with the detours to put us, protect us, promote us, and perfect us, to indicate to us we have a better place to be, a better position to be in. We have to track, we have to look, we can journal, we can facilitate some sort of inventory of these clues until we see the patterns of purpose-driven or ego-driven activities and direction. Comparisons, judgments are the thief of this joy. If we are overemphasizing desire, we may lack the skills and knowledge and just work in the ethereal of some sort of false facade of success and direction. The second of this verse in the Tao is the power of simplicity. Complexity clutters this execution. Simplicity is, in my opinion, the illustration of the knowledge of the clarity, balance, and focus, the speed and the trust and simplicity is that which unlocks it. So many sales teams that I know, they have trimmed its pitch deck from 30 slides to 5. They're the ones who saw a greater closing rate soar. When I'm coaching individuals in building out their decks, it's amazing when I tell them that we only are looking at 5 different things. We need a slide on credibility, 1 on emotional attachment, 1 to quantify the reasons, 1 to quantify the impact, and the last to infuse capabilities that are most aligned with the 4 aforementioned. But you should have 30 slides as addendums to show your preparation and utilize those as an arsenal to answer questions. And so people have this power of simplicity and the power of supplemental result. Instead of leading with attachment of we are going to be happy when, we are going to have comparison joy, which leads to blame, shame, justification, separation, and conflict. Try leading with detachment. When we say I'll be happy when, this attachment of emotions to an outcome only breeds and accelerates and exaggerates the fear that causes the dis-ease and the resistance between you and where you think you want to be or better. It is detachment that fuels the creativity, the innovation, and the resilience that's necessary in order to move in the divine direction, to elevate your awareness of the divine detours, and to allow for divine time to get you to a place that's bigger, better than you even imagined. Knowing that things take longer, and then all of a sudden, things take forever, then all of a sudden. I've seen so many product launches and people that learn to celebrate the learning metrics, not just the revenue. Iterated faster and beat competitors through celebration of learning, not revenue. Focusing in on the process and the service, not just the results that you want to chase. This detachment from outcomes for the sake of acceleration, for the sake of aggregation, for the sake of compounding outcomes instead of direct one-to-one correlated outcomes, gives us this idea that leading with detachment may be a longer but far more profitable, productive, and accessible way to a place, a better position, a better situation than you ever imagined. If we can set our KPIs towards process, not outcomes, looking at the surveys and the calls made and the prototypes and the MVPs alongside the revenue goals aligned with what's doing well, what's stable, and what you think is doing well, according to the industry, careers, and jobs in which you are trying to align with. After each milestone, ask yourself, what did I learn? Was it my responsibility? Did I learn from that? Was it my attraction? Did I learn to that? Or was it simply just the way that I'm participating in the perception? And did I learn from that? So many people are so interested in what did you earn instead of what did you learn? In the short run, when we attach our emotions to an outcome, to revenue, and we're only concerned about what did I earn, when we are commission-based, we may see in the short run a blip of success. This is fool's gold. It is for the sake of what and what did we learn, and it's the mission that allows the commissions to follow for the long run that will accelerate, aggregate, and compound exponentially. Because in the attachment, things will happen faster than in the detachment. But in the detachment, things will happen very slow, then all of a sudden at an exponential rate and exponential outcomes. The third lessons that we want to look at in this living without attachment training. By the way, you can have the guide anytime, david@dmeltzer.com, is understanding the application of why. So many people are in search of their why. They're attaching into an outcome of why instead of applying their why. and applying it to their business and their life. They don't understand the compassionate capitalism model, the purpose-driven, the definiteness of purpose in business and in life. So many companies are anchored in service, magnetize talent, clients, and profits. They're utilizing responsibility, attraction, and the participation and perception to build a community of people that want to help each other, know people that can help each other, a value-based community that's giving people more of what they like, more of what's working, and more of what they don't know, and taking away what they don't like, what is not working, and what they don't know. So many brands pivoted from a product-centered ad campaign to an impact of storytelling, doubling their engagement, doubling their neighborhood, doubling their production, doubling their accessibility, and finally, doubling their profits. Profit is nothing more, I'm going to repeat this twice, profit is nothing more than the applause of purpose. Make it your mission, the commissions will follow, because profit is the applause of purpose. Capture that. Remind, remember, and recollect with that. Craft this inline service promise to yourself and share it with everyone in your neighborhood. All the people that are buying from you and selling for you, that are there to help one another and know people to help one another. Get this unified, abundant, divine direction, divine detour, and divine time. You need to have a definiteness of purpose, and it will be profit that is your applause. We need to utilize teams that are rooted in credibility. And a team that is rooted in credibility is rooted in trust and humility. Humble leaders invite collaboration, coordination, and they spark innovation. They are intelligent followers. They know they're either humble or they're about to be. They know that they have to avoid the ignorant arrogance that they think they know or have to pretend they know. They can just admit that they don't know and ask for questions and suggestions in humility in order to facilitate a greater good within the organization, trusted in humility. So many CEOs that publicly credit their frontline employees for wins, they boost their engagement, their retention, and their idea flow. Recognition compounds these outcomes. Attached to acknowledgement of others, not elevation of self. Elevate others to elevate self. Institute a practice, a behavior of others first in the acknowledgement and recognition, in ritually highlighting our teams for their contribution in order to root the team and trust in humility, knowing that it's okay that we don't know what we don't know. Under this applying our why, not only do we have to have a definiteness of purpose, not only do we have to be rooted in trust and humility, but we have to live a fulfilled, passionate, purposeful, and profitable life, personally and professionally. Accumulating more rarely equates to feeling more. Appreciating more multiplies exponentially the fulfillment that we feel. There's so many professionals who track their daily gratitude report and higher their own life satisfaction than those who track their income. I'm not saying that you shouldn't spend a minimum amount of time every day paying attention and giving intention to your income. But I'm saying that we must spend more than enough time tracking our gratitude, our appreciation of others and of the neighborhood in order to facilitate the aggregation, acceleration, and compounding of value. Make everyone a celebrity, which means to celebrate, to appreciate. Celebration expands what you value, giving more of what you want, what you like, and what is working, taking away what you don't like, what's not working, and what you don't want. This is how we live and apply our why to be fulfilled. Start reflecting and reminding and recollecting on the wins. Every day, have a practice of gratitude in order to reflect when we wake up and when we go to bed. This anchors our appreciation for 0.1 seconds. It's free. When we anchor ourselves in appreciation, when we reflect upon it every day before we go to bed and when we wake up, we will appreciate things for the sake of, instead of acquiring things as an outcome or attachment. The next lesson within the context of living without attachment, which you can get anytime. So email me, david@dmeltzer.com, if you'd like the exercise or guide or the training manual that I've created, is a reflection and action plan. It's the AAA strategy. We need to take alignment first, then take action, and then reflection to adopt or adapt the action. Insight without implementation is simply inertia. We need to reflect in the AAA strategy to get alignment, action, and prepare for that adjustment through reflection. So many teams that convert all of these notes into some sort of sustainable sprint, some 90, 120, 360-day sustained change plan. Often others revert to their old habits without having a go, no-go plan to effectuate where we want to be or better. Taking into consideration time, emotion, and value will change the minute you come up with a plan. So not only must all agreements, must all decisions, but all plans adopt to prepare for adjustment of time, emotion, and value. Leaving it open-ended and inflexible will allow you to align with the circumstances of the day, but holding true to the non-negotiable behaviors that are non-circumstantial. Identifying the difference between the two is essential in what you do. Utilizing accountability as responsibility, attraction, and participating in a perception cements this transformation of energy. Money can transform into good deeds. Material items can transform into appreciation, not the resistance and interference that's created by attaching to those things that there'll never be more than enough of. Tap into the AAA strategy, tap into the alignment, action, and preparing for adjustment. Simplify all the habits as negotiable, non-negotiable, or even more importantly, the hybrid of negotiable circumstances where we want to do things non-negotiably, but once a week, once a month, or once a year. Release the attachments to any material recognition, acknowledgement, or items in your life that are not providing you anything other than blame, shame, justification, or resistance. We must look at and review, reflect, remind, and remember every single day, adjusting and adapting with humility to the time, emotion, and value that is changing. The AAA strategy allows us to align, take action, and adjust to reflect and create plans that are open-minded and open-ended without attachment. Living without attachment, the fifth and final lesson for today. Once again, available, david@dmeltzer.com. Get your exercises guide, a book on this. It's all for free. Just email me. It is the success through simplicity and service that allows us to detach from these outcomes with faith. Knowing with faith that there's more than enough of everything for everyone through simplicity and service of not just giving, but identifying through gratitude, empathy, and accountability all that we're given, to feel worthy to receive it all, and then to be faithful to ask for even more. Detachment isn't anti-ambition. It's not sitting at home high on your mom's couch, broke and sick, dreaming about what you want. It is applying your why. It's that pro-purpose. It's the definiteness of purpose. When we trade ego-driven striving for service-driven thriving, we gain the clarity, the courage, the compounding exponential impact that we have. We are utilizing the universe at its fullest and our God to protect, promote, love, and perfect us. A mission focus, a compassionate, capitalist, an intelligent follower, a leader, a founder who scaled revenue tenfold exponentially by obsessing over customer outcomes, not investor praise or revenue. It is, once again, the missions that will attract the commissions, not the opposite. It is an exponentiality that we're utilizing to put in what is our investment of the intention and paying attention to create the coincidences that we desire, the coinciding of the universe. True abundance flows from intentional focus and not external noise. Simplify and serve. Simplify your focus to the vital few priorities, understanding your non-negotiable behaviors, your sleep, your health, your family, your finance, your faith, your relativity studies, your time studies. Create negotiables, either hybrid negotiables that are once every week, month, or year, or straight negotiables that are utilizing the circumstances of the day to prioritize what's important to you by the meaning of your past in your divine direction, which will allow the transformation of detours to their divinity and the transformation of time to its divine purpose, where everything happens at the right place at the perfect time. Detach from the outcomes, double down on the process, double down on the process of excellence. Utilize the consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential. Know that if you study Spanish 15 minutes a day, you're guaranteed an A. If you study 15 minutes on a Saturday, no guarantee, that's for sure. When we can prioritize success through simplicity and service, we are giving more than we take, but we are elevating our awareness to all that we're given from that process. And then receiving that and asking for more allows us to live in abundance, defined by more than enough of everything for everyone, defined by our faith that we have enough of everything for every none. We have more than enough, and so we should ask for it. In the aspect of detaching, in the aspect of living without attachment, there's so many lessons of wisdom, of simplicity, of teaching to not overemphasize desire, to power of simplicity, and leading with detachment, not attachment. Applying our why through definiteness of purpose to teams that are rooted in families that are rooted in trust and humility, and living a fulfilled life by AAA strategy of alignment, action, and preparation of adjustment to reflect and create the action plan of openness to the time, emotion, and value that changes, and that success that comes through simplicity and service. Simplicity isn't about shrinking our dreams. It's not about limiting the meaning of our past to limit our imagination or our self-image, notating that we'll never overachieve our own self-image. Simplicity isn't about shrinking. It's not shrinking our dream. It's about clearing the runway so we can take off. Detachment isn't surrendering ambition. It's freeing yourself to pursue the purpose, to apply the why with fearless creativity, coordination, and collaboration. When we prioritize service over status, process over pressure, gratitude over grasping, success becomes the natural byproduct. The money, the relationships, the impact flow, because we're finally aligned with what matters, our source, with all the information and all the energy, with more than enough of everything for everyone. Your charge is simple. Strip away one layer of complexity, shorten the distance of resistance through wisdom and faith. Release one attachment to the external validation, the comparison, the judgments, the conditions, and double down on serving. Do that, and you'll discover the Tao's promise in real time. Harmony breeds clarity. Clarity sparks action, and action rooted in purpose unlocks limitless abundance. Remember to be more interested than interesting, and allow the universe to prove you right in your divine direction, allowing the indications of divine detours to put you to a better place, a better position, a better situation. Live your human experience from the time your heart starts till the time it stops, in the divine time of the right time at the right place. This is what occurs when we live without attachment. If you like the guide, the training guide, if you like these exercises, please email me, david@dmeltzer.com, david@dmeltzer.com. Come and join us next week in Denver, Chicago, and Rhode Island. We are always looking for great members. We have thousands of members to our private networking group, invited, not obligated, to over 200 events a year. And as members, obviously getting priority as we are oversold in every aspect of what we're doing. We would love to have you join us, david@dmeltzer.com. Now it's time to get some Q&A. Hopefully you've prepared and thought of some questions or suggestions on living without attachment. I'm going to hand it over to the Nick of Wam. We've been on the road for quite a bit of time. The well-oiled machine himself. Welcome, Wammer.
What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. And thank you, David, for an incredible first half of this training, and for all of our reoccurring friends, and for all of our new friends. After the first half, we always transition into a little bit of Q&A. So whether you're joining us here online, as of course we're streaming everywhere, please make sure to put your questions into the chat. And if you're live here in the best community in Clubhouse, the Breakfast with Champions, please, if you're in the audience, use the hand icon to request to join the stage, and we'll bring you up. And of course, if you're already on stage and have a question for David today, please just put a quick note in the room chat, and I'll be more than happy to pass the mic over your way. Now, with that said, David, the requests are coming in abundance on all different platforms. I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to our good friend, Mr. Brent Nichols, who is with us this week in New York City. Brent, it's always good to see you here, my friend, but even better to see you in person. So thank you again for joining us. Feel free to kick us off with the first question of the day.
Oh, man, thank you, Nick. Thank you, David. It's always a pleasure. Really enjoy being part of this community. Thank you. So you hit upon a theme that is of utmost importance and focus, and something I'm working on is simplicity, right? Keeping it simple, making your words matter. So, David, you travel around a lot and do a lot of different things, and there's a lot of different activities that you've got to continuously prioritize. How do you keep that simple? Like when you first arrive at a destination, do you have like something you do to align your intentions? And like, what is that? And how do you operate with such ease all the time?
It's understanding and studying time, and understanding time in three respects, regardless of the circumstances, meaning when I arrive, or if a plane's delayed, or what the interest rates are, or if I'm buying or investing in something, whatever it may be, it is time that creates ease. And so I split my future into a half, first of all, and I take out all dis-ease from half of my life. I take out all, imagine if I could offer you, and I do for the people I work with, whether it's all these free trainings or our group that you're a member of, Brent, or, you know, we have a wait list for my one-on-one and business advisory, but all of the people I work with, I teach them, imagine if I could give you ease for half of the rest of your life. All the 24-hour segments for until your heart stops, except for the last day, you know you're going to be cheated. So do I. But anyways, what value does that have to everybody out there? I don't know why more people don't take consideration of what I'm saying. So in order to have ease for half of your future life, all we need to do is to create non-negotiables of ease, because what causes dis-ease? Our reaction to circumstance, our reaction to fear, and the circumstances keep changing except for the 24 hours. You're guaranteed for the rest of your life increments of 24 hours until your heart stops. So what I do to start to create this ease that you see, even though I have more activities than most people on earth, other than maybe Elon Musk, who I'm still trying to figure out what mechanisms, modalities, or methodologies that he's using in order to effectuate the amount of activities that he has. Although physically he's more at dis-ease than I am, because they're not hospitalizing me for wearing myself out, burning myself out, mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally, like he has on several occasions been hospitalized for burnout. I am going to put everybody at ease for half of your life simply by giving you a encouraging suggestion to create non-negotiables of 12 hours a day. Start with your sleep. Make it a non-negotiable to sleep a minimum of 8 hours. A non-negotiable, no matter what happens. Now, are there exceptions? Yes, but don't double stack exceptions. If you have to take an exception because you didn't get to sleep for a minimum of 8 hours, make sure that's the number one priority the next day. Don't double down on the L's. Make sure that one time it's an exception, 2 times it's a beginning of a new behavioral pattern. And we want all behavioral patterns to be at ease, not at dis-ease. Then give yourself a minimum of time for your health, your family, your faith, your finance, the study of time, so that you can handle the other 12 hours of prioritizing according to circumstance. And of course, the study of relativity to give you the perspective of gratitude, forgiveness, and accountability to increase the inspiration, intuition, and intelligence that is unlimited, that you're connected to and through in the infinite, abundant, unified system that we belong to. And so why am I at ease the majority of time that people see me? Is because half of my day I guarantee to be at ease because I'm utilizing non-negotiable behaviors of ease regardless of the circumstances of the day. Then my primary focus for the other 12 hours, the other 12 hours of the 24 hours increment for the time my heart starts till the time it stops, is to be better at prioritizing my negotiable behaviors or my hybrid negotiables. Hybrid negotiables say, you know what, once a month, I'm going to go and do this. So that's still a non-negotiable, but it's only once a month. So I need to utilize the negotiable circumstances in order to facilitate the best time to do that non-negotiable once a month or once a week thing or twice a week thing or 3 times a week thing. But the majority of what I'm doing is prioritizing the negotiables when I show up to a hotel beyond the 12 hours of non-negotiable behaviors. I'm now looking at the circumstances, pre-prioritizing, prioritizing, and post-prioritizing to apply my why, knowing the meaning of the past and the divine direction that I want to move in. And so if there's any delays, changes, reprioritization necessary, I'm extremely harmonious within the context of where I want to be or better. And therefore, I'm living the majority of my life at ease. Identify when I'm dis-ease, not resisting dis-ease, going over it, under it, through it, around it, lying to it, manipulating, cheating it, denying it, but utilizing a methodology of just stopping. Stopping is a testament and illustration of my faith, that there's no neat reason to resist it, to outlogic it, to analyze it. I simply stop and breathe. I remember it. I remind it. I recollect it. You see, there's all the information in everything available to us. And so I'm going to forget every lesson I've ever learned. I'm going to forget my prioritization. I'm going to forget my pre-prioritization, my post-prioritization, but I'm going to remember, remind, and recollect with it after I shorten the distance of resistance by not outlogicking it. So when I'm resisting or creating interference in the 12 hours of circumstantial behavior, that I then, instead of creating more resistance, accelerating, creating cortisol as a biochemical reaction to that emotion, I stop, allow everything to dissipate, dissolve, and disappear. I get at ease, and then I roll into the divine direction. Now my detour becomes divine, and my patience and faith become divine in time. I'm utilizing the majority of my day in minutes and moments outside of ease. I'm utilizing my day in my divine direction. I'm shortening the distance of resistance of the detours, making those divine, and allowing for the coinciding of the universe in divine time to give me the acceleration, aggregation, and compounding of simplicity. If you want to make your life simple, then understand time, understand your behaviors, understand your good behaviors are aligned with where you want to be or better. Your bad behaviors are interfering with it. And when we utilize this holistic approach with the pragmatic principle of the only certainty in the future called time, we now can live at ease, dissipate, dissolve, and disappear the dis-ease, physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. The more at ease you are, the greater the information, the energy, and abundance that there will be in your life. Get to the point where the flow is so great that instead of trying to dissipate the interference, you're now regulating the amount of information, regulating the amount of energy, regulating the harmonious behaviors in order to create a great alignment with where you are today and where you want to be in the future. What a great question when it comes to simplicity. Use your negotiables, your non-negotiables, your hybrid negotiables in order to effectuate where you want to be or better. Thank you, Brent. It was great to see you. I look forward to next time we can see you in person as well.
Thank you, David. Really appreciate you. Really do. Have an awesome Friday.
You got it. Remember, profit is the applause of your purpose. Here we go. Nick of WOM, who's up next?
Absolutely. I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic over to the wonderful Colleen. Colleen, happy Friday. Thank you so much for your patience. Feel free to unmute yourself and ask away.
Ask away.
Happy Friday. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so two parts, because this question I think is just so, or not, the training itself is so important for anybody that's looking to really grow, like spiritually, emotionally. And I think as anybody, everyone's gone through trauma. Everyone's got their own stuff. So the fact that we still are attached to so much of it, as we try to grow emotionally, this training really helps. Okay, so two-part question. There's something to be said about that level of attachment you have to, persons, places, things. How often are you reconciling kind of the levels of those attachments that are causing that kind of emotional distress? And then how often? How often are you taking inventory in it, and then how often are you checking in on that?
Yeah, so we're indicated when to check in or take inventory by our reaction to it. And so whether it's a person, place, thing, or event, if we are having a reaction of, for example, a need to be right, a need to be offended, a need to be separate, inferior, superior, a need to be anxious, frustrated, angry, guilty, resentful. So if you're around an event, a circumstance, or a person that causes you to react in this interference, then we will take inventory of the relativity of that event, person, or circumstance. We will look at the association that we've given it from the meaning of the past to the divine direction of the future. And we then can quantify by taking inventory the actual amount that the feeding and bleeding feeds us. Because remember, it's not just feed that which feeds you. Well, it is, but remember that bleeding can feed you as well. I know you have a baby and your baby definitely bleeds you, but that bleeding is an amazing feeding. It's probably one of the most appreciated activities that you have. It adds the most fulfillment and purpose into your life, even though it bleeds you. And so in order to look for the clues and the patterns of how we react to certain people, places, things, and events, and then when we react in fear, the reaction to fear with a need that's causing interference, worry, guilt, resentment, separation, inferiority, superiority, whatever it may be, now we can take inventory. So there's no, for me, easier and more efficient way to take inventory than the instant and obvious reaction to fear. And so if a relationship of a person, place, thing, or event causes you to react in an interfering way with bad behavior, then take inventory and study the relativity, association, and the feeding that you get from the feeding and bleeding. Does that sound fair?
Super helpful. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate you. All right, Nick of WOM and your Travis Matthew hoodie. It is the fourth quarter, and we always know that who's the king of the fourth quarter hero himself, but the Nick of WOM. Nick of WOM, who is up next?
Absolutely. Welcome to the fourth quarter, everybody. I'm passing it over to Sabrina, who's going to continue to keep us rolling with the Q&A. Sabrina, thank you for your patience. Feel free to unmute yourself and ask away.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. Oh my goodness gracious, I'm fired up right now. I thought I would not be able to make my question. That's my question. Thank you so much, Nick, David. Good morning. The question is, following this beautiful energy, how can we nail clarity? Because as Colleen was mentioning, trauma, and then as Brent was asking as well, like these things, sometimes the non-negotiables are just perfect. But just sometimes trauma kicks in and clarity kind of goes into the woods, Do you have any words of wisdom for that, Dave?
I do.
David?
Either one's fine. I do. It's so interesting because through personal development, therapy, and other things, I've spent millions of dollars and many resources in order to facilitate the understanding, awareness, the elevation of trauma. And it's very difficult because of the multi variables that are involved in this trauma. There's past lives, there's the womb trauma, the toddler trauma, the baby trauma, the teen 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s traumas. There's so much trauma, and there's so much drama that's created to my trauma that I decided that I'm going to allow, as I stated with Colleen, me to utilize the instant and obvious. And so instead of trying to out logic and analyze my trauma, trying to go over it, under it, through it, around it, resist it, lie to it, manipulate it, cheat it, or deny it, for me, I want to process it by identifying my reaction to it, looking for the clues of how I react to my trauma, looking for the patterns of how I react to my trauma in order to make better choices aligned in the divine, instead of aligning into the acceleration in the wrong direction. And so I have not met anyone that I've worked with the thousands of people I work directly with and the millions of people that I work indirectly with, that has not suffered any trauma. And I've never met anyone that can tell me the exact traumas that are having the impact on them when it happens. But what every one of those millions of people can do is tell me the instant and obvious result of that trauma, like being mad, worrying, feeling guilty, feeling not worthy, feeling separate, feeling inferior or superior, anxious, frustrated, angry, whatever it may be. Those are all instant and obvious. So my philosophy or strategy is not one that's medically based. It is simply pragmatic in my usage of the incremental 24 hours that I get every day of my life, from the time that my heart starts to the time it stops. And that incremental time should be used at ease, at peace, in the flow. And so instead of wasting my time, this is just for me, in the trauma and the drama relative to the trauma, I utilize it to identify the clues, patterns, and make better choices from the instant and obvious, the reaction to the trauma, and avoid the drama. And it's the best mechanism and modality that I utilize. I hope it's helpful. You can adapt it, as everything else, to your own beliefs, your own divine direction. But that's the best that I got, the best option that has helped me to dissipate and dissolve the drama that's relative to the trauma.
Yeah, and then in the situation when you get into that point, and then I'm asking like for the stages of this whole process, right? Because and then sometimes we get to that point, but then there's still like there's still fragments of the past, right?
Oh yeah.
As you move forward.
Yeah. So we use cancel, clear, connect. So understanding the conscious continuum. So if there's still fragments, those are usually then through this practice of stop, drop, and roll, they're usually in the subconscious. The subconscious obviously is an intermediate database of our meanings of the past, and they're repetitive. Most people have about 85 to 90% of their 40,000 thoughts that are hosted in this intermediate storage. Most of them are negative, 85 to 90%, and they're repetitive. So imagine what you're doing to your unconscious competency, to your epigenetic layer. You keep activating all the negativity. And so this process of stop, dropping, rolling, now you're getting to a deeper level. If you can identify the fragments, now you can utilize a connect strategy instead of just a pragmatic stop, drop, and roll of canceling and clearing our conscious. We can actually connect to source, and we can picture and look for the light, the love, and the lessons in these fragments. We can find the light, the love, and the lessons in going bankrupt or being molested or whatever other traumas that people have had. We can find the light, the love, and the lessons, and then share that with something that we love the most, the 528 frequency of something that holds a higher frequency, and let that regulate itself into a longer term practice of connecting. I have a great guide for everyone. If you're interested in what we're talking about, there's a Cancel Clear Connect guide that I have. It's in Connected to Goodness. So if you have the book, I'll send it to you. I'll pay for shipping. I'll buy you a free book, but charge you $10 for shipping. No, I will pay for shipping. The book, I'll sign it if you want me to devalue the book, but I will sign it for you if you want. But look up Cancel Clear Connect, how to shift the energy. And it doesn't happen overnight. One of my energies, it took me 9 years. 9 years. And forgiveness is a big mechanism of that. And it's a great practice why I study for 10 years, the Course in Miracles, to help facilitate the greatest capability I have, which is forgiveness. And forgiveness, avoids the duplicative negative of revenge. And so we absolutely, whenever there's trauma, revenge is lurking deep inside. And the higher the level, the bigger the devil when it comes to trauma as well. So the more we accelerate and elevate, the higher the level of that, the greater the devil, as my friend Tim Story, one of my mentors, teaches me. Anyways, we have time for at least one more. I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much. Please reach out to me. I'll give you the Cancel Clear Connect. David@dmeltzer.com. Nick of Guam, we're in the last 6 minutes. Can you believe it?
Absolutely. We're moving and grooving as we always do. And I'm going to pass it over for one more question on Clubhouse, and then we'll close out with a question from online. Want to make sure to show some love to that community from people.
Holy shit, we haven't taken any from online.
I know. Let's
like
do it. We got one more from Clubhouse. I'm going to pass it over to Cooper, who has been patiently waiting here on stage. Cooper, good morning, my friend. Feel free to unmute yourself and ask away.
What's up, guys?
What's up?
How are we doing? Thanks for having me. I just got a quick question. And I feel like from the time that I've been being able to tune into these lives, being a part of the team, there's so many things that I've realized that I learned growing up that just kind of didn't make sense anymore. And so my question to you is, what is one thing that you think people need to unlearn to really take their business to the next level?
Well, first of all, if you are a middle-aged white man in America, you got a long, long list of shit to unlearn. And if you have good intentions like I do, you really start to realize all the things that you have to unlearn. But the number one thing that I have to unlearn is the trade and the negotiation of giving. You see, I misunderstood what my mom was teaching me years ago about the more you give, the more you receive. I thought the more you give, the more you will receive. And I expected it. I negotiated for it. I traded it. It became a different variance of true scarcity. I needed something back, and I attached, aligned with the living without attachment, I attached my emotions to an outcome of receiving. And I used to give to receive. I gave millions of dollars to charities in my 20s, 30s, and 40s, expecting something back. And when I went on a journey to figure out why the teachers and the moms, the single moms, the first responders, the United States veterans that I met, the most kind and generous people, why was it that they didn't receive more? I'll tell you why, because of something I had to unlearn. That giving and receiving are not a negotiation or a trade. It's one. You see, the more we give, the more we're given. But there is a capability necessary to see all that we're given, or else we're going to feel punished by what we're given. Because a lot of times what we're given, there's no evidence that we're given anything. Or worse, the evidence is contrary that we're given anything. And as I study religions and philosophies, theories, and spirituality, all of it reconciles the unlearning of this trade into the learning of the more you give, the more you're given. If you use gratitude and forgiveness to find the light, the love, and the lessons in all you're given, instead of being punished, you'll be promoted, protected, loved, and perfected. And then to take it another level, that it wasn't humble to receive. I had to unlearn this idea of trading and negotiating of giving into the more I give, the more I'm given. And now humility comes in receiving, not receiving, because when I receive, I'm giving somebody the greatest joy they can have, which is the greatest joy you can have is being capable of helping someone or being able to be capable of giving someone something. And yet I was denying it through a misnomer that needed to be unlearned called humility of receiving. And then the final in the trade or negotiation of unlearning giving to receive, the trade, the negotiation, the scarcity that is inherent and reconciled within giving to receive, instead of giving more, being given more and receiving more, in humility of providing more to other people, lies the greatest testament of faith ever to be imagined. It's called praying. What is praying? Asking for more. It's a testament that there's more than enough of everything for everyone, that there's more than enough, an omniscient, all-powerful, all-knowing source, a God, Jesus, Muhammad, Joseph Smith, Buddha, whatever you believe in, that's protecting, promoting, loving, perfecting you, giving you more than enough of everything. But you got to ask for it. You got to pray for it. You got to pray for it with your intention of doing, saying, thinking, feeling, and believing what you're praying for, asking for, a testament of faith and humility. I had to unlearn the trade and negotiation of giving to now understand that the more I give, the more I'm given. The more I'm given, the more I receive. And the more I receive, the more I ask for. So now I have more than more. I can give more than more, be given more than more, receive more than more, and ask for more than more. Now I'm living in the world of abundance, not scarcity, not trade, not negotiation. Come with me, everyone. Live without attachment. Live in the world of more than enough of everything for everyone. You too can live in abundance with wisdom and faith, shorting the distance of resistance created by that attachment. I appreciate everyone. After 26 years of doing trainings, we will be here every single week. Wednesday with the Napoleon Hill Institute, which I'm the chairman of. Fridays here. Every platform we're available. Please join our private networking group. We'll be in Denver, Chicago, and Rhode Island next week. Meetups, holding court, speeches, VIP dinners, masterminds. Come and join us. David at dmeltzer.com. Get my books, my guides, my exercises. David at dmeltzer.com. It is Living Without Attachment. I'm going to let my boy, the Nick of Wam, close us out. Thank you, everyone. Have a beautiful weekend. Thank you, everyone. We appreciate you. Just as a reminder, you can join our private networking group. Please, David at dmeltzer.com. If you want to be invited to the 200 different things that we talked about, meetups, holding court, VIP dinners, mastermind, speeches, all the amazing events from the Masters to the Super Bowl to the NASDAQ, all of them available, firewalks, just text me, 949-298-2905. If you love to be invited, if you don't feel obligated, you're invited, not obligated, join us. If you do feel obligated, do not text me. You're going to get so many invitations, you're going to feel like shit. So text me only if you don't want to feel like shit. If you want to feel good, email or text me, David at dmeltzer.com. Remember, most importantly, be more interested than interesting. Be kind to your future self and do good deed. God bless you all. Hit it, Gigi.
Welcome to Office Hours, hosted by legendary sports executive, entrepreneur, and investor David Meltzer, where the brightest entrepreneurial minds in business, sports, and entertainment get together to talk about success, failure, and everything in between.
I have no self-worth tied up in Gary Vee or Gary Vaynerchuk, the entrepreneur. My self-worth is fully and utterly 100% attached to how I treat human beings.
And I think love is the answer to everything as well. Love and compassion and justice and fairness, and which are all aspects of love.
The most important question anybody can ask is, what would I do and love every day, even if I were failing?
Take a deep dive into the mind of some of the world's most impactful guests.
And the reality is, life here on Earth is very short compared to eternity, and we don't spend a lot of time thinking about eternity and what that looks like.
People get new computers, they get the new iPhones, they upgrade their apps. But when's the last time we upgraded, the technology that's created all of these things?
So I always challenge my audience and people I talk to about, sometimes is there a door in your life you have to close for other doors to open?
To share their strategies and tools to dominate their respective fields.
When we repeat anything, whether it's a constructive, good pattern or a destructive bat pattern, our brain reinforces it just like a muscle.
All a belief is a story that you've said over and over again. Maybe you caught it from someone else or you had a specific experience.
Know who you are, know what you want, and make adjustments trying to get there.
David Meltzer hosts Office Hours